Hey, what's going on? Let's see if this thing is working. Let's see if this thing is working a little better. It's working a little better. I'm just doing some sound checks. I'm going to play this intro music. I'm going to get right into it. I got like 30, 45 minutes to talk about this Trump economy and these MAGA supporters.
You could have subscribed to any other YouTube channel, but you chose to subscribe here. So, hit that notification, hit that like button, and tune in with Adrian and Glib Talk. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's clear. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's clear. I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk. 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 Let's all get right on the late night with a little discussion or a heated debate on sports, news, current events. Glib Talk is where you gotta tune in for facts and different opinions. This is Glib Talk, hosted by Adrian, who will dissect the dichotomy of the fake news by its views. Trying to get to the truth, or we could just shoot the shit. We all trolls and his, that's why the chat stay lit. In the live stream where everyone clowns let off a little steam. So go ahead and smash the like button. You can subscribe to the page, turn on the notification for the live stream, and upload updates. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's lit. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's lit. I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk.
All right. That's my boy Bizzle. If you haven't subscribed to Bizzle Con, look him up on YouTube, Bizzle Con.
I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. If you are a first-time viewer, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And then everyone who enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that smash that like button. And turn on them notifications. So you won't be tuned out.
All right. This sounds good. Like every day I think about going live. Every day I want to go live.
My nigga Nate for the track. Good looking. I am Bizzle.
I just don't have the time. It's unfortunate. Joe, let's say the Trump economy. You mean the ain't shit economy? Yeah, that's one way to describe it. You know, you could describe it as that. It would be fair. It would be fair to call it ain't shit. But it's the only economy we got. It's the only economy we got. Look, hey, I was rooting for success because I'm not an idiot. And I wasn't saying, oh man, I hope Trump fails and hope he doesn't do anything that he promised. I just knew that stuff that he promised to do, he could not do, right? It doesn't matter how much you say, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to do this, do that. If it doesn't make any sense, no feasible sense, and everyone should have been able to come to that conclusion. This is just me thinking that everyone thinks like I think, which everyone does not. So you don't have to. But I think that if someone says, I'm going to do something, the only logical response to someone saying they're going to do something is, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? And because he had no answers to how he was going to do that, no one should have thought that he actually was going to do it, that he could do it, that it would be done. There's no reason to believe that it was ever going to happen. But believe whatever you want. You think whatever you want. It's a free country. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to talk about politics, and I'm going to talk about the economy, Trumpnomics. But first I want to talk about our political discourse. The injection of Donald Trump into our political environment was like an infection. His involvement in politics is an infection and is rotting the political discourse from the inside out. Like his words, the way that he's weaponized the political environment has mutated on us. I'm trying to think of a way to say it and have it like really hit. Like it wasn't like this before. It wasn't like this before. And it's Donald Trump has to be patient zero. He's got to be number one, the person who started it. He's the one that brought it to this level of discourse to where there is no more discourse. Before Donald Trump, it was already a swamp. It was already terrible, right? It was already terrible, right? But at least there were some exit ramps. There were some lifeboats. There were some people out there that we could say, I trust that this person, even though they don't do everything that I believe, we don't agree on everything, is not trying to drive us off the cliff. There's some people that had some dignity. There was some civility, even though the people were out there lying their ass off. The same people could talk in complete sentences, and they pretended to act like they understood some of the nuance, that they cared about the nuance of what they were talking about. Then Trump comes in. And it's like when he kicked in the door, he threw away anything that made somewhat sense to this is an adult conversation. All that stuff went away. The man, the guy, he took the concept of say whatever the hell you want, turned it into a lifestyle. America loves that. America loves it. It doesn't matter because most people, myself included, want to talk. They want to give their opinion and they want other people to hear it. But when Donald Trump started talking, all of a sudden facts are optional, right? Facts, what's a fact at this point, right? Truth, what's truth? Whose truth? My truth? Your truth? What's the truth, right? There is no more truth. There is no more facts. Now you just have people screaming at each other, confidently screaming at each other while being wrong. That's where we're at now. There are people who, even when faced with the truth in the answer, will confidently respond with something that has nothing to do with the topic. And that's the problem. That's one of the problems. But the biggest problem is that his words didn't change how people spoke. They changed how we fought. This isn't just politics no more. This is pro wrestling. The level of antagonism. The level of antagonism is so high. I posted something that shouldn't have been antagonistic, but I know it is because Trump supporters are. I'm trolling them on Facebook at this point. I posted a post that someone else posted that said, a Trump supporter asked, why did I think they were stupid? And I said, it's because you don't listen to anything that anyone says about him, but you defend him at all costs. And then it listed all of these things that Trump has done, that Trump supporters defend him on. And there's no argument about it. It's like, this is what happened. This is the link to the news article. You can read it, you cannot read it. And I said, this is reading material for MAGA. I don't need to read it because I already know all these things. If MAGA really wanted to know who Donald Trump was, they would read it. But they don't want to know. They already believe. They believe that he's their savior. He believes that he's the answer. And because it has cost them so much equity in their personal life, they can't go back on it. Personally, there's a feeling they have that's attached to Donald Trump. And because they don't want to be wrong in that, they defend it even though it's wrong. Hey, the good thing is you went a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way. Unfortunately, you went the wrong way. Look, I'm not saying that one side is better than the other or that one side is innocent or guilty of making it the way that it is. Because the left, myself included, is participating in these screaming matches, in these comment section brawls. But Trump is the one that turned it into this. Trump is the one that turned it into this. It was never about policies that helped the people with Trump. That's for suckers. That's for suckers. It was only about winning. With Donald Trump, he convinced his base that winning was the only thing that mattered. It didn't matter if the policies did jack shit for you or anyone you knew. It didn't matter if they actively made your life worse. What mattered was that the other side lost. After the election, I stopped talking to Trump supporters because I said, I'm not going to argue with you on whether Donald Trump won because he won. And I'm not going to argue with you about whether it was better or more people that better or worse for the country that he won. Now that he won, let's see if he does the stuff that he said he was going to do. That's all I want to talk about. That's all. I don't want to talk about anything else. Don't tell me about Joe Biden. Don't tell me about Kamala Harris. Don't tell me about liberals and transgender mice. Tell me whether what he's doing is helping you. But it doesn't matter because it was all about winning. Like Al Davis, just win, baby. But now they want to apply that to the highest office in the land, which doesn't make any sense. You won the election. Why do you now you have to do a victory lap over and over and over again to remind us that you won? Do what you're there to govern. Now look, I'm gonna be honest with you right here, right? I posted something the other day about FAFO, and I said this is the next video we're doing, and it is true. We are going to talk about it right now. FAFO. I've taken pleasure in watching people who fucked around and found out. I have. And this video clip, I'm going to pause it at the part so I can say exactly why. Because let's just watch this clip. Let's just watch a little bit. This is a news story from West Virginia that was on Reuters, and it's talking about these Trump supporters in West Virginia that voted for Trump, and now they lost their jobs.
Jennifer Piggott voted for Trump in the November election. Then in February, she was fired from her civil service job.
Absolutely, I feel a little bit betrayed.
She was among more than 125 people dismissed last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
There's always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
You live in an echo chamber. You live in an echo chamber. If you turned on any news network between February of 2024 and Election Day, you saw people railing about Project 2025 and what it was going to do to the federal government. If you opened it up and you search for reduction in force, reducing the size of the federal government, anything like that, you would find that there are several sections in there where they speak specifically about reducing the federal government, reducing the workforce, and taking away jobs from people that have them. They felt like there are too many people working for the government and we need to get smaller. Whether that's true or not true is another question. But the problem that you had was that you didn't think they were coming for you. They were told you they were coming for you. It says it right there in Project 2025. You're a federal worker, we're coming for you. And you voted for them anyway thinking, but they're not coming for me. It's other people. I live in West Virginia. I'm not part of the swamp in Washington, D.C. No, you're just a federal worker like the rest of them.
No kings, no tyrants, no kings, no tyrants.
The cuts have shaken up a community that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. He won West Virginia with 70% of the vote.
So it sounds like they got what they voted for. It sounds like they got what they voted for because they didn't think he was going to do it to them. You voted for the guy who says he was going to deport people now. Now your loved one got deported? FAFO. You cheered when he promised to gut regulations, and now your town's got poison water? FAFO. You screamed about cutting entitlements, and now you're clutching your pearls because Social Security and Medicaid are on a chopping block? FAFO. You railed about the size of the federal government and your federal government job got cut. FAFO, you got what you asked for. You said, please, can you make the government smaller? Yes, starting with you. Starting with you. Get your shit and get out.
One of his biggest victories. But the betrayal felt by Pigott, a church-going conservative and three-time Trump voter, comes as political analysts are examining early signs of a possible backlash in Republican strongholds like Parkersburg, where the government-slashing efforts of Trump and Doge are beginning to hit home.
Elon Musk has basically taken over our government and has calling the shots, unfortunately, it seems to be.
A handful of Republican voters.
So these people, right, even in the midst of Donald Trump handing the power to Elon Musk to do it, do not blame Donald Trump, who has the power to make him stop, but blame Elon Musk because he's the hammer. Donald Trump has given the hammer to Elon Musk and said, use it. Elon Musk is using it. And the people don't blame Donald Trump. No, not Trump. Who do they blame? The guy with the hammer in his hand that wasn't elected and has got nothing to lose. These people, I hate to say it, I always say it, are fucking stupid.
Voters who lost their federal jobs joined Democrats at a recent anti-Doge protest near the Bureau of Fiscal Service offices in Parkersburg. But the federal job losses in the state could soon extend beyond the BFS building, says West Virginia University economics professor John Deskins.
West Virginia is at the very top of the states in terms of the federal workforce as a share of total workforce in the state. So if the federal layoffs happen, if they hit West Virginia, we stand to suffer a disproportionate share.
Think about how fucking stupid you gotta be, right? Think about how stupid you gotta be to be a federal worker in a state that has the highest percentage of federal workers of any state, and to say, I think the federal government's too big, let's make it smaller, but not me. And it ain't gonna hit you. You gotta be insane. You have to be fucking insane to do this, to be a part of that, to sign up for that. But some people have to find out the hard way. FAFO.
When those jobs disappear, when that income disappears, when that spending leaves the state economy.
But in Reuters interviews with 36 workers, business owners, and politicians in Parkersburg, nearly all said that Trump's focus on cutting government spending was a worthy goal. And Reuters Ipsos polling shows Americans' attitude toward Trump are so far essentially unchanged since he began firing federal workers in February. As of this week, his approval rating was holding steady at 44%.
Cutting costs and waste and fraud, and. We love that big picture. I love that big picture. My friends, we were excited about that because it is true. But again, I can't help but go back to the fact that what is the decisions that you're making right now solving in the big picture? It just.
What do you mean? What is it solving? He says he was gonna cut the federal government. He cut your $50,000 a year job. He saved us $50,000. We should all cheer. We should all cheer for the fact that the federal government saved $50,000 by getting rid of you as another person sucking off the tit of the government. Oh wait, you're a real person. You're actually a human being. And we should consider you a human being. We should consider the other people as not human beings. People that are not you. So they lose their jobs, doesn't matter. Because they're not Trump supporters. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a real human being. I should be considered a real. You should take into consideration me. Listen, I don't care about this lady at all. And I'm be honest with you. I do not, because if she had a chance to vote for Trump or Kamala Harris again, even while sitting here and losing her damn job, she'd probably say, but I couldn't vote for Kamala Harris because she's going to do. I take pleasure in watching these people who fucked around and found out. I do. Because what's happening to them was told it was going to happen to them. Kamala Harris said this is what's going to happen to you. Barack Obama said this is what's going to happen to you. The Democratic Party said it was going to happen to you. Saturday Night Live said it was going to happen to you. You didn't believe it because you said it was fake news. Well, now it's happening to you. So why should anyone else care? Now that it's happening to you, it's supposed to be a goddamn tragedy. Listen, next time you should vote for someone different, and you should try to convince other people to vote for someone different. Because there's no reason why his approval rating should be the same in an area where all of you motherfuckers lost your jobs. Like, do you not have anybody that you can talk to that's in your community that would say, man, that's a terrible thing that he's doing to you? It's a terrible thing that's happening for our community. Maybe our opinion of him should change, but the opinion of him is not changing because it didn't happen to them yet. So why should I feel bad for you? I mean, I think it's morally wrong to feel how I feel, but this is just how it is now, right? Politics is not supposed to be a karmic game of where people get burned just so they can understand the pain they wished on others. But that's where we are now. And the worst part about it, that's what these people wanted. They wanted to see other people suffer. You know, like this lady, exactly, Jola, there's no sympathy for those mugs on the other side. This lady wanted other people to lose their job. If they were saying that there were people in Washington, D.C. and Maryland and Virginia, my neighbors, people who live around me, if they were losing their jobs, they'd say, good, let those people lose their jobs. They deserve it, right? But one of the first places hit, and one of the hardest places hit, is this little small town in West Virginia where the best job anyone probably could get is this federal building that they're going to sell off. Not only are they losing their jobs, they're selling the building so the job don't come back. But you want this to happen to someone else. So why should anyone care that it's happening to you? You never thought the fire was going to come to your house. And all that I can say now, all that anybody should ever say, at least until the winds of the political discourse changes, is FAFO. You fucked around and you found out. You got what you were asking for. Now, we should be able to take the high road. I should be able to just sit back and watch, right? I don't have to participate in this, but that's not even an option anymore. It's not even an option anymore because, number one, if you listen to what Trump said the other day, oh, this ain't my fault, it's Biden's fault. Now, granted, he said he would fix it on day one, but the fact that it's going the fucking wrong way, the stock market's crashing, the Dow Jones is crashing, the S&P 500 is crashing, fucking Bitcoin everything's fucking crashing. He's saying, oh, it's not my fault, it's the other guy's fault. But everything that's happening is because of the decisions you're making now. Say what you want to say about Sleepy Joe. He kept the car on the road and the car between the lines, and it kept going straight, and it didn't go into any ditches. He just kept it going straight. We hit some bumps along the way. We had some potholes, but if you look at where the stock market was when we started, and you look at where it was when we ended, it's way better. It's way better. And if you look at what's happened over the last month and a half, you have to say, this doesn't look good. I mean, we still got plenty of time. We got 4 years. But if this is the plan, doesn't look good. If you plan on retiring here in the next 4 years, if you're losing 1 to 2% of your retirement account a week, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble. You know, we're hoping for some returns here. We're hoping for exponential growth. But that's not what we're getting. We were promised on day one everything would take off, and now we're here, and the decisions that he makes the people who are on the inside say, I think I'm going to take my money and go home. I don't want to be a part of what he's about to do. So we can't take the high road. You can't just let it happen, because if you do, the conspiracy theory truck is going to hit you right in the chest. MAGA and Trump supporters are bullies. They're bullies and trolls, and they only understand one type of discourse. That's the portrayal of strength. So you just can't let it happen. You have to actively engage. You have to actively participate. Because if you don't, the people who aren't paying attention will get the idea that this is all Joe Biden's fault. And it was working just fine until Joe Biden got involved. That's not what happened. The problem with Trump supporters is that they're loudly ignorant and they're proud of it. They don't understand the nuance of what's going on. They don't really understand anything. They just know that if they say it loud enough and often enough, other people will go along with it because that's how they got there. Their main purpose is to offend and outrage. And it's all a distraction. It's all a distraction. Right? Trump comes out and says something every day in the middle of the night. He's like, I got to fucking say something. Why does he say something? Because he doesn't want them to talk about what's really going on. The stock market is fucking crashing. Stock market's crashing. And it's been a rough month for the stock market. If you got money in it, you know. And it isn't like there's potential for getting better, as every day he's threatening to do more things that make more people say, I don't want to invest in the stock market. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. But the Trump supporters, it doesn't slow them down. It doesn't matter. They're out there every day battling it out in the comment sections. And they're winning the battles because they're experts at stupidity. They've been having this stupid conversation for 7 years. They understand it. They know it better than anyone. And there's no way you could jump into it feet first, even if you have all the facts and beat them in something that they will call a debate, because it's not a debate. There is no debate. It's just an argument about something that doesn't make any sense. And if you say something that makes complete sense, they're going to change the subject, change the topic, pivot to something that says something different, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about, and it's not going to fix the economy whether you had a conversation or not. What has to happen, since I know I can't change their mind, is I have to get people to join me that do agree that what's happening is not normal, that what's happening is crazy. I need a coalition of the willing. Like George Bush said, I need a coalition of the willing. I'm going to try to get 100 people with me. There's 100 people. That's it. There's a midterm election coming, and I'm just going to try to get 100 people. I don't care where you live, wherever you live, 100 people that's going to vote with me to try to oppose what is happening in our government. Because this is not normal. This is not how it's supposed to be. We need new people. We need new people in our political arena to change the conversation to something that's more sane. Because what's happening right now is not tenable. It is not tenable. The level of division that's happening in our country is not sustainable. A house divided can't stand. And at this rate, we're going to be in full-blown divorce before the next presidential election. The people in power are not trying to find common ground. The Democrats have just said, we are not going to help the Republicans at all. They got all the power to run the government, run it, right? And the Republicans have a segment of their constituency that want to see it run into the ground. Indomitable Human says, this is what a mandate feels like. No, this is what a mandate feels like. This lady voted for Trump 3 times. This is a mandate.
Decisions that you're making right now solving in the big picture, it just, so the concept of voting for that again, voting for Elon Musk essentially to wreck people's lives, I can't do it.
The economic impact.
That is what a mandate looks like, and this is what that lady looked like before the election. That's what she looked like before the election, and that's how she looks now. That's the mandate. But the level of division that we're at right now, it doesn't help anyone, because if the only objective is to win, why is there a government? Why is there a government? The government is designed. The only purpose in having the government is to take care of functions that we cannot do for ourselves individually, or things that would be more efficiently done if it were done by one party, someone else. Roads, hospital services, water, sewage, electricity, defense, education, things that, if shared collectively, could be provided better for all than if each person individually had to build their own school, their own water filtration system, their own roads. Is not possible. Is not possible. The government has certain functions to perform, and it would be great if they would perform it. But the way that we're going, the government is performing no functions, right? The people that are in power are saying the government should do nothing, so let's shut it all down, while also saying we also need to repurpose this money that was used for funding the government to fund us, redistribute it back to us. I still look like that, just more handsome. Let's see. But look, let's see. Where's your empathy when Joe Biden was firing half of America because he wanted to force vaccines on us? He didn't fire half of America. As a matter of fact, he didn't fire anybody. I was just talking to somebody about this, right? And they were taking it from the position of how they felt then. You know, hey, you know, I thought, I was worried, I was concerned, this and that, da, 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 da. I said, okay, now let's go 5 years forward. Did you get magnetized? No. Did anybody that you know die from getting the vaccine? No. Did the 5G towers turn on and make your brain go crazy? Did the Matrix happen? None of those things that they were saying were going to happen happened. Not a single one of those things happened. So just fuck how you felt then, because then you didn't know, you were afraid, you didn't know. Now 5 years later, should you have had a reason to be afraid? I look and say, look, before Donald Trump was elected, I had fear. I said, this is what's going to happen. I'm telling you what's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. I don't know what's going to happen, but in my opinion, he's going to fire federal workers. He's going to try to shut down the Department of Education. The economy is going to crumble because the tariffs are stupid, and those things are happening. They are currently happening. So to talk about people that lost their job because they went through the COVID shot, and in the end they made a mistake in not taking it because what they feared would happen didn't happen, to Donald Trump winning the election and him doing exactly what he said he was going to do, which are all bad things. They're all bad things. Unless losing your job is a good thing. If losing your job is a good thing, then it's wonderful. You're talking about a small percentage of specifically government workers. I don't know what that part means, but I'm talking about Donald Trump saying we're going to reduce the workforce and we don't really care who you are or what you did. We just want to get rid of workers and we're going to fire anyone that we can get rid of. That woman voted for Trump because her idea was that other people would lose their job. It just happened that it was her that lost her job. But what's the answer, right? What's the answer, Indomitable Human? What's the solution? Because I don't know what it is. I just know that if politics is going to be like fucking blood sport, there won't be anything left to fight over. We need people in power that are going to govern, that are going to make decisions that are best for the citizens, right? And there should be people who benefit from it. And there's always someone that it negatively impacts. So we can't say no one should be negatively impacted, right? That's not even almost possible. If you raise taxes so you can help somebody, you hurt somebody, right? You raise their fucking taxes. I get it, Indomitable Human. But the idea that poor people voted for these rich people to solve their problems, while the rich people say, well, the answer to your problem is to get rid of all these damn jobs, but you got one. Losing your job is a good thing if your job is paid for by tax dollars and your job is totally useless and helps nobody do nothing of any value. But the thing about it is that we don't even know what this lady did for the federal government. We just know she's not doing it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what she does. I don't know what she did. I don't know if her absence will be felt, because the ship never sinks, right? This I learned in the Navy. The ship never sinks. It doesn't matter how many people you have. It doesn't matter what needs to get done. When it's time for the shit to get done, the people that are there pull their shit together and they get it done. That's it. The ship never sinks. So if you have 5 people there, 5 people do the fucking job. If you got 3 people, then 3 people do the fucking job. They just work harder. I'm not sure what the actual answer is because I don't know what the hell she does specifically. All I know is they fire her without asking her or anybody what the hell they did. They just said, get rid of some people. And they were like, well, fuck those people in West Virginia. Fuck them. But they voted for this. This is what they wanted. But look, the real tragedy, right, is that there won't be anything left to fight for. And it won't matter whether she lost her job or you lost your job or taxes went up or down. If it's over, right? No civilization lasts forever. Empires come, empires go, they rise and they fall. But what accelerates the fall is when people stop believing in the idea of a nation. And that's where we're at right now. We've reached a point where we cannot even agree on basic reality. Half the country thinks that climate change is a hoax. They think it's not real. While the other half is bracing for the next natural disaster because it keeps happening to them. One side says democracy is under attack, and the other side is cheering for the destruction of the institutions they claim to love. They say, this is our house. Let's go down there and fucking destroy it. It's not sustainable. This is a slow motion car crash of a nation tearing itself apart from the inside. And all we can do is scream at each other over whose fault it is. Getting rid of bullshit jobs makes room for better and more impactful jobs. Unless you're a Democrat, then it's the end of the world. Now, and down to be human, I would say to you, do you know if this is a bullshit job? Like, seriously, I know the answer to that question. I know you don't know. You don't know what these people did. And if you were a person who said that no people who work for the federal government bring value, then it wouldn't matter what they did. You just get rid of them. They didn't bring any value. They work for, they're federal workers. This is what someone said to me. They're federal workers. Of course they don't do anything. Well, there you have it. There you have it. But with that type of mentality, why have any government at all? Why have any of this? Why not just tear it all down, right? Which is exactly what I'm talking about. There isn't anyone coming to save us. And as long as the citizens, me and you, only discourse can be to argue about whether it's good or bad that this person lost her job without saying, you know, the people that fired him are giving themselves raises. The people who fired this lady are giving themselves raises. Donald Trump says this lady who makes $50,000 a year makes too much money. So her job has to go. And in the same conversation says the White House needs a ballroom that's going to cost $50 to $60 million to build. This woman probably makes $50,000 a year. Donald Trump, in the same conversation where this woman, they talked about laying off these fucking people and cutting down the government, also said he needs to have a $50 to $60 million ballroom built Mar-a-Lago style at the White House. That's the problem. We both should be able to agree. Maybe that's fucking stupid. Maybe we don't need a $50 to $60 million ballroom added onto the White House. And the only way to pay for it was that this lady who makes $50 grand a year loses her job. But you know, I've determined that there is no reasoning with Trump supporters. There is no reasoning with MAGA. So there's no reason to even try to compromise. And that's the saddest part. Because I don't think people want chaos, but I think they pick the side of chaos. So they say, wait, this is what we voted for, so this is what it is. It doesn't have to be fucking chaos. It's never been chaos like this before, ever. Right? And I would say that the only reason why that there would be people who want this level of chaos is that their objective is to destroy it all. But hey, look, as long as winning is more important than governing, as long as we refuse to see each other as fellow Americans, then it's only going to get worse. And that's the real tragedy. But look, I got one thing I want to talk about, and I got like 7 minutes. So look, right, I don't want to Let's talk about something different. The champion of the working class, a billionaire standing in front of American citizens at his golf resort at Mar-a-Lago, tells you, hang in there, guys. It's going to get better. What? Wait. Wait. Listen, guys. We got this tax break. Got these tax cuts we really got to get through. So we're going to need everybody else to tighten up their belts. So that way, me and my billionaire friends can get the biggest tax cut possible. So listen, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But hey, it's how it is. Like, no pain, no gain. This motherfucker actually said no pain, no gain. Right after I get these tax cuts for myself, which is all gain for me, right? It's all gain for me. But for you sorry saps, Donald Trump, the champion of the middle class and the poor, says, better tighten up your fucking belt, pull up your fucking bootstraps. So we're gonna jump right into this, the economic kiddie pool that Donald Trump promised will be overflowing with prosperity. There's more pee in the pool than progress. The guy told us he was going to fix this in one day. He's now saying no pain, no gain. Just hold on a little bit longer. The good times are right around the corner. Just like his health care plan. Just like the cure for COVID. Just like the wall that Mexico was going to build. The wall that Mexico was totally going to pay for. It's always coming. Now, I don't know how many people have to experience this. I only got to experience it once. But apparently, Trump supporters, they like the insertion. They like the insertion. It's got to go in all the way to the hilt. Fuck the lubrication. Just get it how you get it. Keep doing it to you. He's going to keep doing it to you. Look. Wait. Let's see what you got here. Let's see. Democrats have wanted to burn the country down for at least 8 years now. No. The Democrats, and Donald B. Human, I'm going to be fair with you here. The Democrats are trying to change our government, but they're not trying to destroy the government. You see, that's like, if we were having a real conversation, right? You would say, Joe Biden says, I think that the government should reflect the citizens of our society. Therefore, I'm going to select secretaries of these major departments that reflect the society that we live in. And, you know, some people might call that DEI, which they use it as I'm never going to use DEI as a bad word. I don't think that to say we're going to be more inclusive or we're going to try to bring more people to the table is a negative. I don't. I believe that the people that are sitting at the table are qualified just as I'm qualified, and I look nothing like the people at the table. So, Republicans want it to be remodeled and updated, and in order to accomplish that, the old bad stuff needs to be demolished out. DEI and funding foreign wars. I don't understand how DEI was the bad stuff that needs to be demolished out when DEI was created to demolish out the bad stuff. See, they fucking tricked you into believing that the reason why we use DEI is because some liberal showed up one day and said we should put black women in charge or put black men in over here and give them. The reason why it fucking exists is because the system that was there that prevented black people from getting the positions. The unfairness of a society that was protected by the federal government. So the fact that the federal government says, hey, you know what? We did a fucking disservice, and maybe we should fix it by making it available for other people to have an opportunity. It's insane to me that the people who it was created to prevent from doing what they're doing now, right, were doing it then. And it was created to prevent them from doing it. Because when left to their own devices is what the fuck they do. And now the president is in there and says, hey, guess what? We're going to get rid of that DEI because we're tired of all these people that have these jobs that are not qualified. And then the second thing he does is hire a health and human services secretary that has no medical fucking experience, who doesn't believe in vaccines, who has a website that is in opposition to parents giving their children vaccines that prevent the diseases that are infecting our community today that we abolished 20 years ago. So if that's not a fucking DEI hire because his last name is Kennedy, I don't know what one is. Pete Hegseth, who's never been in charge of more than 100 people. He ran a business that had 3 fucking employees, and now he's in charge of the entire military? You're telling me he's qualified for that job because you saw him on television? Linda McMahon is in charge of the Department of Education. Why? Because she thought that fucking Hulk Hogan was a good wrestler? Like, what qualifies her to be in charge of the Department of Education? It makes no sense. The guy who's in charge of the U.S. Postal Service, the Postmaster General, at least he ran a shipping company. But his only purpose in being there is to dismantle the fucking post office. He's only there to dismantle it because Donald Trump wanted to slow down the mail-in ballots. And the best way to do it was to get a person there who could say, hey, we're going to try to cut costs in the shipping. First thing we're going to do is get rid of half of the fucking mailboxes in our society, and then we're going to fire half of the workers so that way the mail is slower. Insane. In-fucking sane. Oh, he says, it's why Democrats are so racist. I have no idea what you're talking about. Donald Trump is the GOAT. Sexually assaulting women, lying on taxes, lying about almost getting assassinated in my Ed Lover voice. Come on, son. Okay. Let me see. Where am I at? 1201. Look, okay. And Donald Bohemian. Let's be fair here. Donald Trump said, I alone can fix it. He said this. I alone can fix it. His fan base repeated it. They said, Trump's the only one that can fix it. Well, now we're here. He says, things take time. You got to go through the bad to get to the good. So basically, he went from miracle worker to your gym coach telling you run another lap. Look, hey, if I had to combat every ridiculous thing that somebody said, I can't endow a human. I can't, dog. DEI is government-sanctioned racism. Are you saying, indomitable human, are you saying that before the DEI policies that there was no racism? On this I'm going to go. I had a whole another second thing I want to talk. I had a bunch of notes. But you know, I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. I'm going to come back and do another video. What I'm going to say is this, indomitable human, answer me this question as quickly as you can. Are you telling me that before the government implemented DEI policies, there was no racism? Just answer that question. We're a month in. Democrats have been fucking shit up for decades. You know what? I'm not going to argue with you about whether Democrats have been fucking it up. Both sides have been fucking it up because Trump was in power for 4 years, and then Biden was in power for 4 years, and now we're back to Trump, right? We had Trump is telling you fuckers, right, to stop complaining about fucking food prices, stop complaining. I got to get these tax breaks for my friends. But I want you to answer this question for me, right? Please, if you could. If you could tell me that before the DEI policies of the federal government that were enacted 60 years ago, it wasn't called DEI, but it's been 60 years, that there was no need for DEI, that America was not racist. If you could tell me that, I'll agree with you. I'll say, okay, hey, this what happens sometimes. But I don't believe that to be true. And that's, whatever. But here, let me see. Let me see if I turn this thing on here real quick. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is the S&P. What is this? No, I don't want to see that. I want to see S&P 500. That's what I want. Yeah. I like the S&P 500. All right, this is S&P 500 today. We're down. Over 5 days, we're down. Over a month, we are down. Over 6 months, we're up, right? And over the last 5 years, we've been up. So, if you just said, hey, you know what? Joe Biden was running the country. We had COVID. We had a recession. We had a lot of stuff was going on, right? But he kept us going on in the right path. Like we're consistently. We had a little trouble here. We had a little trouble here. He's only been here for a month, and he started saying what he was going to do, and people started bailing out of the market at exponential rates. People said, we got to get the hell out of this market. We can't be a part of it. What's up, Roselle? Trump was, so Indomitable Human, I asked you to just answer the question that I asked. I'm not conflating civil rights with DEI. You've been told, the problem with most Trump supporters in MAGA is they don't understand anything. They don't understand the nuance of anything. So the fact that they've decided to coin a phrase called diversity, equity, and inclusion does not mean that it's not just a continuation of affirmative action, which is the federal government saying we need to take affirmative action to try to find ways in which we could be more inclusive in our society, because we were intentionally exclusive in our society. And this is a fact. This is a fact that America was intentionally exclusive. It is a fact that America was racist, that we did violate people's civil rights in housing and employment. It is a fact that those things happen. And to say now that the problem with our society is that we've decided to be inclusive of people who we were intentionally exclusive to. This was America. This is America. What do you mean, who was they? Indomitable Human, you're a goddamn idiot if you don't understand. I'm not talking about Democrats or Republicans. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about America. And every time you parse it out and separate it into, well, this is a Democrat and that was a Republican, you've fallen into the trap. You missed the whole point of everything that I was saying. It has nothing to do with Republican or Democrat. America agreed that it was better to exclude people. And it became policy and acceptable to do it. And at some point in time, the federal government said, you know what? It was kind of fucked up what it was doing. Maybe we need to do stuff to fight against the intentional exclusion of minorities, of women in the workforce, in the federal government, in leadership, in management. It was protected. There was nothing you could do about it. And now they say, well, the problem with our society is that there's too much of this inclusion. Why do we have to include other people? It's insane to me. It's even more insane when minorities say it. It's even more insane when black minorities say it. I say you must be fucking nuts. Listen, I can't even have a discussion with a Republican without them going back to Abraham Lincoln, right? Now they totally ignore Richard Nixon and the Southern strategy. They totally ignore Richard Nixon and the Southern strategy and about how the Republican Party absorbed the Democratic Party of the South that was not progressive or was not progressive enough. The people that wanted to conserve the old way. And those people vote Republican now. Now, there's lots of things that I've done that I know you haven't done. One of them is read the platforms of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party through the 60s and the 70s. And you can see, if you look at the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a big turning point in America. And if you look at Republican platforms, anybody can do this. Trust me. You look it up. Just go to the Presidential Project. Just type this into Google. Presidential Project, Party platforms. You'll see every party platform. You pick any party platform for the Republicans. After the year 1964, you will not see the word civil rights. You will not see the word civil rights. You see it now as they're saying, we will protect the rights against DEI. They talk about it now, but in the time when civil rights was a major problem in America, both parties talked about it. 1964, one party said, we're no longer going to discuss this. It is not part of our platform anymore. 1964, the Republican Party. You can look it up. Don't believe me. Go to Ronald Reagan 1980 election. Look it up. Find civil rights in there. Find it in there. It's not in there. There's a serious problem. There was a serious problem in America, and it was in an effort to resolve it. Have they gone too far? That's a topic for discussion. That's actually something you could have a debate on. To debate the existence of it is insane to me, because the reason why it exists is because of the problem that existed. Look, I got to go back to work. I wish I had more time, because I don't like what a dominant human is saying right now, but I don't have time to really get into it. But I appreciate you guys clicking on the play button. If you haven't hit the like button yet, hit the like button, share this. And Donovan Human, man, you're my #1 fan. If no one else is here, I know you're going to be here, and I appreciate it. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later on Glib Talk. I get back to work. Peace.
You could have subscribed to any other YouTube channel, but you chose to subscribe here. So, hit that notification, hit that like button, and tune in with Adrian and Glib Talk. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's clear. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's clear. I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk. 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 Let's all get right on the late night with a little discussion or a heated debate on sports, news, current events. Glib Talk is where you gotta tune in for facts and different opinions. This is Glib Talk, hosted by Adrian, who will dissect the dichotomy of the fake news by its views. Trying to get to the truth, or we can just shoot the shit. We all trolls in his, that's why the chat stay lit. In the live stream when everyone clowns let off a little steam. So go ahead and smash the like button. You can subscribe to the page, turn on the notification for the live stream, and upload updates. If you talk